Control over the operations of the Wagner PMC will pass to Russian military intelligence. Sources close to the Kremlin are confident, writes the New York Times. This is evidenced by the recent trip to Mali and Burkina Faso by Russian Deputy Defense Minister Yevgeny and General Averyanov, who previously headed the secret military unit of the GRU.
The contrast with the flamboyant Mr. Prigozhin could not have been sharper, and it aligned with the message the Kremlin was delivering. After Mr. Prigozhin's death in a plane crash last month, Russia's operations in Africa were coming under new management. From a publication by the New York Times.
Bloomberg also writes that all operational activities of the Wagner PMC in Africa and the Middle East after the death of Prigozhin will come under the direct military command of the Russian Ministry of Defense.
Although Wagner's covert overseas network is due to fall under effective Russian military command and in a setup that gave Putin a veil of deniability but allowed Prigozhin to build enough independence to lead an audacious mutiny in June, a defense ministry-affiliated armed contractor is poised to assume charge of Wagner's operations in the Central African Republic. From a publication by Bloomberg.
Since 2018, the Wagner PMC has been present in at least 10 African countries. According to the latest data, about 5,000 Wagner mercenaries are constantly deployed on the continent. Prigozhin received his main profit from exporting gold from Sudan to Russia, as well as diamonds and timber from the Central African Republic to the United Arab Emirates and China. The Financial Times estimated Prigozhin's income from the extraction of natural resources in Africa and the Middle East at $250 million.
The Kremlin began to establish formal control over Prigozhin's extensive corporate network, whose ambitions exceeded the level that was comfortable for Vladimir Putin. The Russian Ministry of Defense began sending delegations to Africa to inform foreign governments that they would henceforth deal directly with the Russian state rather than with Prigozhin. From a publication by the Wall Street Journal.
His 25-year-old son Pavel may receive control over part of Prigozhin's assets.
His formal business assets that remained, he bequeathed most of them to his son Pavel Prigozhin, and according to rumors, some part of them to the individual commanders of the Wagner PMC, so that they would help Pavel Prigozhin maintain control over business assets. And these rumors about a certain meeting that took place in recent days, it should have been dedicated to formal distributions and work on retaining Prigozhin's business assets.
However, in addition to formal assets, there are also shadow ones – cash, precious metals, etc. Whether Prigozhin's son will be able to maintain control over them is unclear.
On the one hand, there are formally legal things, because the hereditary case is really open against Prigozhin estate, and accordingly this legacy is distributed, and in this sense the Kremlin is unlikely to oppose at this stage, but only later, when it seems to Pavel and the top of the Wagner mercenaries that they manage to keep these assets, then what will happen to them is a big question.
Recall that the plane crash with the business jet in which was Prigozhin occurred on the evening of August 23rd over the Tver region. The Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations reported that there were 10 people on board. 3 of them were crew members. Everyone died. The list of victims also includes the head of the Wagner PMC, Yevgeny Prigozhin. Reported by Roman Smoler, Yulia Hranovska, UATV News.